Hey guys, we are back with some more Wolfsburg Wolves franchise mode, and in this one, we are just going to continue the simulation, as there's not much else to do, but one thing I will point out, we did turn on injuries once again, and we also turned on the automated goal rotations, since we are no longer intentionally trying to tank, so we will get an even amount of starts for Philip Grubauer and Peter Mrazek, or we should anyway, and yeah, that's really about it. I also went ahead and signed some players for the AHL because our depth in the AHL isn't really fantastic, and I'd like to get some players to help out our young guys develop. So we're going to go a week here, and then once we get all of our players for the AHL, I'll edit the lines real quick, and then we'll get back into the simulation. So we have a shootout win, 5-4 against the Pittsburgh Penguins, so very nice. We are starting out the season pretty good right now, 7-2-1. And hopefully we can continue that trend as we have a trade from the San Jose Sharks here. Irwin for a fourth. No, I don't really feel like doing that. As Dallas, 2-1 win. All right, solid. And then a 6-2 loss against the Vegas Golden Knights. But that's not too much of a problem. We're 8-3-1 to start out the season. Really cannot complain, especially for this team. Panarin with 14 assists. So he's definitely the passer there, it appears, for the first part of the year. So we're going to go to the edit lines here, and we will sort out the lines for the AHL. Alright, so here's the lines for the AHL. Walker, Grayevac, and Archibald on the first line, and then Voloshenko, Brodzinski, and Staples on the second line. And then on the third line, we have Bryson Mathers with Dominic Bach and Adam Musil. And the fourth line, we have Matt Bolesky with Oscar Backstrom and Petri Norena. And then on defense, we have Sulak and Jensen, and then Bolaris with Weber, and then Ben with Poggi. And then in goal, we have Lindgren and Svedberg. No prospects here in terms of goaltenders, but at least guys like Voloshenko, Bach, Mathers, Backstrom, and Arena are in there, and Staples as well. And then you have Bolaris and Poggi as our defensive prospects. So they're getting some time with the veterans down there in the AHL. So we will go ahead with the NHL simulation and see where this month takes us. Hopefully we get a good record going here and really make a solid push for the playoffs this year. I would love to see that in year number 3. As would all the Germans, you know, all the natives would appreciate a playoff-bound team after 2 years of absolute failure. So there's a solid win against the LA Kings and an overtime loss against the Calgary Flames, so can't complain too much. Got a point out of it. But unfortunately, it is a Western Conference team, so might be competing with them for a playoff spot at some point down the road, but still pretty early in the season right now to be worrying about that. So Matt Bolesky has been injured with a mild concussion. That's the fourth line in the AHL, so we'll just replace player for right now. Maddox Homer, also injured with a concussion. Not a mild concussion, a concussion. Estimated return is December 21st. Ooh, that's not good for Maddox Homer. That is an unfortunate injury right there to one of our young stars as well. I think he's only 19 and he's getting a concussion. Oh man, that's unfortunate. So I guess Tatar will move up to the second line, and then Connolly. So that would be Wilson, Pajot, and I guess Quinn is our extra player. Yeah, we'll fill in Quinn there. Yeah, very unfortunate injury for Maddox Homer. He was doing so well as well. So we'll get Connolly in here on the 4-on-4, and then 3-on-3, I guess Koivu and Tatar, and then Stasny with, let's see, you know, I might get 2 defensemen on here. Kuleshov, Brodin, Hamilton. Yeah, I'll get 2 defensemen with Myers. There you go. And extra attackers is good. Shootout is good at the moment. Yeah, we're looking good. Okay, so yeah, again, unfortunate injury right there to Maddox Homer. He's going to be out for quite a while. That's like a month and a half, I think. A 3-1 loss to Jersey. Let's see. 1-0 win against Washington. Okay, but again, Maddox Homer, he is one of our prolific goal scorers. Even at 19 years of age, he is a pretty significant goal scorer for us. And Yannick Weber has been injured with back spasms until November 29th. What is going on here? Am I going to have to take a look at the injury rate here? Because it seems like they're happening pretty often. 2-1 win against the Chicago Blackhawks and a 2-1 overtime loss against, oh yeah, okay, so Josh Archibald's been injured with a mild concussion. Okay, I have to check out the injury rate here because this is looking like it's going to be an injury every few days kind of situation. Getting more injuries than an Eastside Hockey Manager. Let's see what's going on here in terms of how frequent the injuries are. Settings, gameplay sliders. Yup, knew it. Okay, so 50 out of 100. No, thank you. We'll go down to 12. And hopefully we'll have a lot less injuries now, because that was just happening way too often. Good thing I noticed that right away, because that would not have been good if we got, injuries to like 10 players within the course of a month. Again, that's like Eastside Hockey Manager type simulation right there. So we'll go the rest of the month here, and hopefully we don't get any more injuries. And we're up against the New York Islanders now. 4-1 loss against them. That not too good, but Yannick Weber is back for the AHLs, and actually I think a couple players are back, so we'll actually edit the lines here real quick, see what's going on. We'll get Klepis out of here in favor of, I thought I saw someone was back. Rozov. Nope, appears not. I guess it was on defense. Yeah, Dersh is in there. I'm gonna get... Yeah, Yannick Weber, I know for a fact I saw, but there was someone else. Was it in the NHL? Guess not. Okay, so yeah, we'll continue the simulation here. Philly, we have a 4-2 loss against them. San Jose will be Archibald returning. So I knew that someone was coming back soon there. We will get Klepis out in favor of Archibald. And we'll get Archibald back on the first line. And Bolesky back down to the fourth. Okay, continue the simulation, please. San Jose, we have a 3-2 overtime win. All right, there you go. That's what I like to see. And last game of the month against Arizona, we have a 3-1 win. All right, so finishing the month off 13-6-4, looking pretty solid. So let's see what that month was about. We had... a shootout win, and then a win, a loss, win, overtime loss, loss, win, win, overtime loss, shootout loss, 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 overtime win, win. So, a little bit of a back and forth month, but whenever we did lose, the majority of the time it went to extra time, so we did get a point out of the majority of those games. So, a point here, a point here, a point here. So, whenever we did lose in regulation, it didn't really hurt us too much since we got an additional 3 points out of those losses. So I can't really complain too much, again, especially for this team. 13-6-4 after tanking the past 2 years, pretty impressive. So Artemi Panarin seems to have slowed down a little bit. He's not really much of a goal scorer, it appears, in this franchise mode, at least, because he has 20 assists on 23 points, so... I guess someone else, I guess Sheary and Point are doing all the scoring for that line, and Panarin's just passing it non-stop pretty much. And then, yeah, Maddox homer, as you can see, 10 goals in 15 games played, and then he gets that unfortunate concussion. And he is a second-line forward now, so we made the right call putting him on the second line, but he just, just unfortunate concussion for him. So hopefully he gets back soon. Which obviously isn't going to be until around Christmas, but, hopefully he can get back on the ice a little sooner than that. So we're going to continue the simulation here until around when, I guess, Homer gets back on the 21st, so we will simulate up to then. And we have a game against Edmonton here, and a trade from the Minnesota Wild. They want to send us Dion Phaneuf and a third for Boston's second. No thanks. Do not need Dion Phaneuf. Edmonton will be a 3-2 win. That's what I like to see. The Rangers will be a 3-2 overtime win. That's what I like to see as well. All right, we'll check the scouting rankings after we get Maddox Homer back in. We had another trade offer. I didn't even see it. I just declined it. Shootout loss. So we got a point against an Eastern Conference team as well. Another trade here, Alsner. No, thank you. I'm not interested in any of these veteran defensemen. I don't know why they keep offering them. I guess we might have veteran defensemen on our trade block, but I don't know why I would want that. Berlin player Gail Bolerice has been injured with a sore knee. Jeez, all these injuries. All right, replace player. And then Boston. Oh, they're pretty bad. Yeah, 5-2 win against them. I do not want Alsner. Montreal. Oh, my goodness. Minnesota. What do they have for us? They have a 4-3 victory over us. So, unfortunate right there. That is our first regulation loss of the month. Followed up by another regulation loss against Anaheim and then Columbus as well. So we're going on a little bit of a losing streak now. Are your Wolfsburg Wolves. Hopefully we can get back into form before that little bit of a break that we have right there after the game against Nashville. Bolerice is back. I'll just get him back in when Maddox Homer returns. And he's back now, but I'll get him back in after the game against Nashville as to, just continue the simulation a little bit and make sure he's back to full health. So, shootout loss against Nashville. Really just a bad stretch here for your Wolfsburg Wolves, starting with Minnesota. Regulation loss, regulation loss, regulation loss, regulation loss, shootout loss. So only 1 point in the past 5 games. We've dropped 9 points off. So that's really not what you like to see for the playoff hopes. We're now sitting in a wild card spot, 39 points. So still not a terrible season by any means, especially for this team. But missing Maddox Homer was definitely a not ideal for us. So we're going to get Quinn out of there and Maddox Homer back in. Welcome back to the lineup. And we'll get him on the second line as that is where he belongs. He's only played 15 games so far this season as compared to someone like Koivu who's played 33. So definitely got to get him those games played. And if I'm not mistaken, there was someone in the AHL who we had to put back. It was Bolerice. How's Aho looking? Only 3 goals and 1 assist in 33 games played. He is kind of struggling there on the third line, but, that's okay. He's a rookie. He's doing well defensively. He's getting hits, so I can't complain too much from Jorg Aho, but I would like if he would get some more points there on the third line. Stasny isn't exactly helping him. Only 10 points on the season for him. Tatar, 15 points. I don't know how many of those came from the second line when he was playing with Koivu and Bakker, but, we'll try to find a way to get that third line going at some point here. And then Brodin, Hamilton, Kuleshov, Myers, yeah, that's looking good. And then goaltenders, let's see, who's got more games? Grubauer's been playing fine, 9-17 in 19 games. And then Mrazek, 15 games, 9-24. So both of them are doing pretty well for themselves here in their first season as Wolfsburg Wolves. And we're just going to have to keep rolling with them until we see a clear number 1, which right now there's both playing pretty well. So we're just going to keep going back and forth between them as long as they're both doing well for themselves. So let's finish the rest of December, and then we will check in on the draft class for the first time this year, as we should. We kind of do that, just to get a preview of what's going to be happening in the next few months or so. Colin Wilson is injured with an injured foot until January 1st. Well, that's the fourth line. We'll just replace him until the simulation's over. He'll be back on the 1st anyway, which is when we're ending the simulation. So we'll just replace him for right now. And then Colin Wilson is back already. But again, I'm not going to stop the simulation now since it's already stopping here after Carolina. And yeah, pretty rough stretch there for your Wolfsburg Wolves. Only 1 win since Boston, which was against Carolina. We were winless for about 3 weeks there. So that was very, very unfortunate for your Wolfsburg Wolves, down to 17, 13, and 7. So something's clearly not clicking with this roster now, unfortunately, as it did in the beginning of the season. So we might want to think about making a line change here and taking a look at the team stats, see what's going wrong. But first, we will check the draft class and see who we can pick up in this upcoming draft. So Carol Talusti is the number 1. The sniper, A+, 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 A-, A-. So looking pretty good. There's Carol Talusti. And then Hunter Farrell. And then Pershagen, unknown. Quint, unknown. Whitaker. Ernesto Swanson. Then you have Daniil Cheka. Jalen Welch. Let's see if there's any medium elite potential guys going later. So, of course, you got the low franchise guys in Ken Emerson and then Gustav Zamnov. But we don't know for sure if they're low franchise. They're probably not. As we see Carter Howdown, who is a 2-bar high elite. So, he might be like a low starter if I had to guess. And then Carol Toulouse, obviously. All these guys that are in the top part of the draft. And then you got Henry James, who's looking close to a medium elite. That might be like a medium top 4. And then as you go down here, so here's a couple of medium top 6 forwards in Swanson and Welsh. We already saw those guys. Just looking for the depth guys. Oh yeah. I pinned some German players as well before I started recording, just so we can keep an eye on them. We got Louis Climie as a medium starter goaltender going in the early third round. Cavallo, so not a whole lot to go off of here as of yet. And in about a month, I guess I will assign the scouts so that they could do a better job of getting these players uncovered. So what we'll do right now is we will go, actually before we have the lines, I guess it would make sense to check the stats first to see what is struggling. So as we go into team stats here, we'll see what is struggling with your Wolfsburg Wolves as of recently. We're not scoring a whole ton of goals compared to the rest of our division. We are second to last, and we are close to being last by 0.02 goals for per game. We're at 2.43, so not what you like to see there. Goals against per game actually isn't too bad. We're at 2.51, and the rest of the division is behind us besides Nashville and Dallas, so it's not terrible. Power play could be better. We're at 16.7. Nashville's at 22.5. And penalty kill, yeah. Penalty kill could be a lot better. 75.9. That's probably where we need to improve the most. So I'm going to see what we can do with the penalty kill here as we go into the lines. And one thing I said earlier is that Jorg Aho could be pretty good defensively. He is a -7, but that could just be his line. And he's been doing very well defensively so far. 51 hits, 23 takeaways to 15 giveaways. So we're going to try Jorg Aho on the penalty kill. I also think that we should try Maddox Homer on the penalty kill as well. He's got more takeaways than giveaways. He hits a lot. He's got 22. And he's a second line forward now, which means we can give him a little bit more responsibility. So, as we take a look at the penalty kill, let's see. Koivu. Oh, he's been doing terrible defensively. Yeah, I'm going to have to take him off. Bakker hasn't been too great either, unfortunately, in terms of the ratio. How's Tatar? Oh, he's very good. We'll leave him on there. And then Stasny is very good as well. So, Koivu and Bakker could be replaced here on the penalty kill. So I'll take Bakker off, and we will put on Maddox Homer. And then, I guess, instead of Koivu, we'll put... Oh, yeah, there he is. Jorg Aho. So, since he's actually a natural center, we're going to leave him at center, see how he does at the face-offs. But I am going to split up Aho and Homer, because I don't want the two rookies together on the penalty kill. It'll be Stasny and Homer with Brodin and Myers, and then Aho and Tatar with Hutton and Hamilton. And then instead of Koivu, I'll put Aho. Well, actually, do I want Aho on the 3-man penalty kill? That's a little bit too much responsibility for a rookie. But then again, there's not really anybody else who's doing well defensively, to be honest. What about Point? Yeah, you know what? I'd rather honestly put Point on the 3-man penalty kill for right now, just because I feel like that's a little too much responsibility for Jorg Aho at the moment. So, yeah, Stasny and Point on the 3-man PK, but then regular penalty kill will just be with Aho instead. So, we'll see what that does for the simulation. Hopefully it does something good, and we will continue the simulation. We'll go until February 1st, and then we'll reevaluate the team from there. We'll see if we need to make any trades at the trade deadline. We'll also assign the scouts so that we can have a better reading on some of the guys who are not scouted all the way in the draft, or not scouted at all, for that matter. So, A loss against the Sabres there to start out the month. Not looking good so far. Colorado, overtime loss. Yeah, we're really starting to fall off a little bit here. We're starting to show our weaknesses. And of course, Mikko Koivu has been injured with an MCL sprain until February 12th. Injuries, the gift that keeps on giving. So replace player. I mean, where are we? We're not close to February 12th. That's over a month from now. So I'm gonna replace manually here. We're gonna put, I guess, Stastny on the third line, then move up Pajot, and then Quinn's already in. So Wilson. Okay, all right. I forgot to put Wilson back in, so we'll just put Quinn on the fourth line center and then move Wilson back to the left wing. So yeah, that puts a dent in our lineup for sure. Special teams, yeah, we're gonna have to find a new guy for the point on this power play. So Panarin point, Sherry, Kuleshov, Tatar, Stastny, Homer, Hamilton, and Brodin. I'll put Myers there for right now because I'm not sure what other forwards I would want to put on the power play at the moment. And yeah, we look to be good everywhere else. Yeah, I'll just leave this B for right now. I'll leave Wilson there on the 3-on-3. See if he can get some points that way. And the Canadians keep offering me Carl Alsner. No, thank you. Not the way this team is right now. 3-2 win against the Maple Leafs, but an overtime loss against Pittsburgh. Dallas, they're very good. Oh my goodness. And we won against them. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. That's encouraging. And then a shootout win against Vegas. All right. That win against Dallas definitely got our confidence back up there. How about LA? Oh, that's a solid 7-2 loss right there. But then we get a overtime win against Calgary. So this has been a little bit of a back and forth kind of month here. As a game against Jersey, they're not too good. And a 5-1 win against them. That is what I like to see. 3 more games left in the month. Washington, Chicago, and Montreal. And overtime loss against Washington. And then against Chicago, we have a 4-2 win. Against Montreal, we have... Come on, be a win. Yeah, 4-3 win against the Montreal Canadiens. So, at February 1st, we are 24, 15, and 10. So that's not a terrible record by any means. We're still in the playoff hunt. We're in the first wild card, actually. 58 points on the season so far. But we're also 7 points out of last in our division. So we definitely have to keep up the pace that we're going at the moment. So we'll check out the stats. And I think I want to stop it here just because, at least in terms of the simulation, because it's not really clear as to what we're doing yet. Like, we seem to have some rough patches still, and we seem to have some stretches where we seem like one of the better teams in the league. So we're kind of in Tweenersville at the moment, so I kind of want to get a read on the stats and see where we stand, and maybe you guys can suggest some trades if they need to be made. So let's take a look. Panarin with 42 points. Connor Sheary with 34. Point with 33. Koivu with 25 in 40 games. And then Tatar with 24. Hamilton with 22. Kuleshov with 20. Bacher with 20. Homer with 19 in 31. 15 goals. Stastny with 19. Myers with 16. Wilson with 16. Brodin with 14. Aho with 12. So he's increased his production quite a bit recently. And then Quinn with 12 and 33. Pajot with 11. Connolly with 9. Heed with 6. Hutton with 4. And Englund has not played yet. Plus minus, Bacher actually has the highest plus with a plus 10. And then Koivu plus 9. So we took both of them off the penalty kill, but they weren't really doing too well with turnovers, so that's why we took them off. But it's good to know that as a line on the 5-on-5, they're doing well defensively. And then Tatar has a plus 5, Panarin plus 4, Homer plus 4, Myers, Sheary, and Point plus 3, Heed plus 2, Quinn plus 1, Kuleshov plus 1, and then Brodin, Hutton, Wilson, Hamilton, Aho, Pajot, Stasny, and Connolly are all minuses. So, yeah, there do appear to be some weak links here with this team. But that's a given, just being that we tanked completely last year, for the last 2 years, actually. And this is the first year where we're really starting to see a lot of improvement. So, take it one step at a time, right? But, if we're in the playoff hunt, you may as well make this team as good as it can be. So, Kuleshov leads with shots and with 131. My goodness, he is a shooter of a defenseman. So that's very good for him, as he will likely generate more points that way. Not only get more goals, but he'll get more assists off stuff like deflections in front, rebounds, things like that. So that's good that he's a shooter for sure. It's got a good, very good ratio as well, only 19 to 29 for a defenseman. Not much of a hitter, but that's okay. That's why we have Tyler Myers. And one thing that I will point out about Kuleshov is that he has yet to play with a partner in the NHL that is shorter than 6'8". He played with Chara for the first 2 years, and now he's playing with Myers, who's 6'8", and then Chara obviously was 6'9". So I guess he's just used to looking up to his partner. So shooting percentage, we have Shiri with a 14.3. Same thing for Homer, on the same amount of shots actually. Yeah, both with 15 goals. Power play points, Panarin has the most with 14. Shiri has 12, Point has 11. Kuleshov, Hamilton, and Homer have 7. Any shorties this year? Yeah, looks like there's a couple here with shorties by Brodin and Aho. Jorg Aho has a shorty. And then as we check face-offs, Pajot has a 56.7, so he's definitely helping there. Koivu has a 55.1. Stasny has a 51.5. And Point has a 49.4. So the majority of our centers are doing their job in terms of winning us the puck. And then hits, Brodin has 105. Myers has 96. Tatar has 83. Koivu has 79. Aho has 69. Hutton has 54. Homer has 46. Shearer is 34. Blocker 31. Stasny 31. Point 30. Panarin 22. Connolly 20. Wilson 16. Kuleshov 16. Hamilton 15. Pajot 14. Heed 9. And Quinn 8. Blocks, we have Kuleshov with 74. Brodin with 72. Hamilton with 62. Myers with 61. Heed with 45. And Hutton with 43. And then Stasny leads forwards with 24. Then giveaways to takeaways. Stasny, amazing. Panarin, amazing. Shiri, not good, honestly. Tatar, pretty good. Very good, actually. Point is pretty good. Pretty much even. Blocker could be better. Koivu could be much better. Aho, fantastic rookie season for him so far in terms of his defensive efforts. Homer, very good. Connolly, good. Kuleshov, good. Myers could be better. Hamilton could be better. Wilson, good. Brodin could be better. Quinn could be a lot better. Pajot, good. Hutton, acceptable for a defenseman. And then Heed, really not that good. 9 to 33. Any fights so far this season? No, we have no fights roughly halfway through the season. So, actually, more than halfway through the season. So, as we check goals, the most goals on the team, tied with 3 guys, actually, with Shiri, Point, and Homer. So, I think we've identified one of the problems right off the bat. Almost 50 games into the season, we only have 4 guys who are within double digits. So that's really not that good. And another problem that I noticed is physicality in the bottom 6. As you take a look, Quinn only 8 hits in how many games? 33. Wow. And then Pajot only with 14. He's the 4th line as well. Well, 3rd line at the moment. And then Wilson only with 16. Connolly only with 20. So that's 4 out of our bottom 6 forwards. So I think we've identified one of the problems there as well. With lack of physicality in the bottom 6 and then lack of goal scoring. So you guys should let me know as to what we should do for the problems that we have just addressed, or that we have just identified rather, so that we can address them with maybe some trades or possibly for some free agent signings, but I'm not sure if there's any good free agents at this point. And then Mrazek and Grubauer, 919 save percentage for Mrazek, 913 for Grubauer. 2 shutouts for both. Goals against average of 256 for Mrazek and 263 for Grubauer. So, I mean, there's not really too much of a difference between them right now, to be honest. Mrazek's doing a little bit better, but they're pretty much even, I would say. So, that'll about do it for this one. Let me know what you guys think, what we should do. We'll go into the trade block here and take a look at all the available players around the league so that we can identify a potential trade that we could make to make our team better. So Machula, I wouldn't imagine why Anaheim would want to give him up. He's an 80 overall at 19 years of age. He looks, and he's got 30 assists in 34 games played. Well, actually, okay, he's still in the WHL. I thought that was in the NHL because he's an 80 overall. So I was gonna say for 80 overall, that's, I mean, he must be an amazing simulator. But no, he's in the WHL still. I didn't see that at first. And then Arizona, no one really that we're interested in. We're interested in NHL players here. Bergeron's available. Only a 1-year deal. So if Boston really wants to give him up, which I guess they do, he's on the block. -2. Hasn't been doing too well defensively this year, it looks like. He's been doing well at the faceoffs as usual, but hits and giveaway to takeaway ratio, not that impressive for where Bergeron usually is. So I guess that would make sense as to why he's on the block. Foligno, Smith. See his ratios. Not that good. See Foligno's. Not that good. Cole, Grabner. The other Foligno. They have 2 Folignos here on Boston. Credeals, Sevier. So a lot of options there, veteran-wise, on Boston. Nothing from Buffalo. Nothing here. Nothing here. Jonathan Taves is available, but still got 2 years remaining on that $10.5 million contract. Not sure if I want to take that on. So, but he is an option. He is there. No one from Colorado. No one from Columbus. No one from Dallas. Thomas Vanek from Detroit. There's Kajula from Edmonton. No one here. No one here. Oh my. Looks like Minnesota's having a fire sale. Braden Shen, Josh Bailey, Ryan Suter, Jason Zucker, Jared Spurgeon, Dion Phaneuf, Zach Parise, Eric Stahl, Brock Nelson. They're just selling their entire team, it appears here. As Montreal, McGinn and Osner. And then no one from Nashville. Nason, Shore, Nieves, and Boyle from Jersey. Niederreiter, Letty, Boychuk, Anisimov, Filppula, Pellick, Clutterbuck, and Johnston from New York. And the other New York Cousins. That's about it. No one here. Lyer, Bush, Vandeveld, Ratcliffe from Philly. And then Pittsburgh, Farabee. And that's about it there. Vlasic and Irwin from San Jose. So Vlasic's available. Only 5 years still on his contract. No, thank you. St. Louis. Wow. There's a lot of veterans available here. Roughly 50 games into the season, it appears. Ryan O'Reilly. Is that Michael Granlund? Yeah, Michael Granlund. David Perron. Christopher Tanev. Tyler Bozak. Patrick Maroon. John Merrill. Nick Holden. Brian Gibbons. Tampa. No one here. Toronto. Abdelkader. Coleman. Zajac. Coleman and Zajac. Jeez, they must have made a trade with Jersey. And then Vancouver. No one here. Well, I guess Osterley, but not too good. And then Vegas. Oh, man, Vegas. Why are all these teams selling their veterans here? I mean, I guess they're all recognizing that they're sellers, I guess. But, geez, I don't think I've ever seen this many veterans available at the trade deadline. Especially all in just a few teams, you know. Brody, Smith, McNabb, Berchi, Johansson, Miller, Howla, Bogosian, Shan, all from Vegas. And then Washington has Orlov and Petrie. And then Winnipeg, no one here, but still a lot of players available. And Anaheim even wants to give up Machula for some reason, which I'm not sure why. He's 80 overall as a 19-year-old. So we wouldn't obviously be getting him right away for our roster since he's in the WHL. But if we were to acquire him this year and then wait till next year, he would be a shoo-in for the roster for sure at only 19 years of age. So you guys let me know what we should do. And I will see you guys in the next one when we try to get back on track with your Wolfsburg Wolves. See you guys then.